economics, international monetary economics, strategic affairs, to understand how close he is to ruling the world. When he does that and the people believe that he is the Messiah, then he can rub his hands and say, mission accomplished. But in order for him to do that, he must first liberate the Holy Land for the Jews. Because the Holy Land is under Muslim rule. He's already done that. In 1971? 40? You got homework to do. 1917. The British Army defeated the Ottoman Islamic Army in 1917. He has to bring the Jews back to the Holy Land to reclaim it as their own. He's already done that. Between 1917 and 1948, while the Holy Land was controlled by Britain under a mandate conferred by the League of Nations. He has to restore a state of Israel in the Holy Land and get them to believe that this is Holy Israel. He's already done that. He created this Israel, this imposter Israel in 1948. You're not answering me convincingly. And then he has to get this Israel to become the ruling state in the world. Ask, what's his name? Barack Husein Obama. Ask him who's ruling the world. And Barack Husein Obama will tell you, Israel is ruling the world already. But behind the curtain, Israel has to wage big wars in order for Israel to replace the United States. The US dollar has to collapse, the US economy has to collapse. And now Mr. Putin has just agreed, hours ago. He's finally accepted, just hours ago, that the reason why the head of the International Monetary Fund was arrested on a trumped-up sexual charge was because he got the information that there was no gold left in Fort Knox. Who took the gold out? Ask Israel, no? Why don't you ask Israel? So, the US economy is just waiting to collapse. It has to collapse. There's no way else it is not possible to survive. And once the US economy collapses, that's the end of the US as the ruling state in the world. But Israel also has to wage big wars, and this is why you have the Arab uprisings at the moment. The Arab uprisings. So that tomorrow you have all of these Islamic governments and so on. And then the cry can come up, the world of Islam is rising, posing a threat, menace to mankind. We've got to do something. And then Israel can unleash her wars by saying, we only defending ourselves. And then of course when Israel becomes a ruling state, which is around the corner, then Dajjal will appear in human form. Nabi Muhammad ﷺ described him to us 1400 years ago. He will be a Jew, be a young man, he'll be powerfully built, he'll have curly hair. And he would rule the world from Jerusalem, declaring that I am the Messiah. But now we come to Isra and Miradj. It is clear, Dajjal is already released. Because he's done all of this already, he's close to the end of his mission. So where is he? Where is he? That's the question. In Sahih Muslim, Nabi Muhammad ﷺ is reported in a hadith, recorded in Sahih Muslim. When Dajjal is released, he live on earth for 40 days. Yawmun kasana, a day which would be like a year. Ambassador Adlan Rose knows this subject very well. Yawmun kashahr, a day which would be like a month. Yawmun kajum'ah, a day which would be like a week. وَسَائِرُ أَيَّامِهِ كَأَيَّامِكُمْ, and all the rest of his days will be like your days. When his day is like our day, he would be in our world of space and time. So we see him, human being. But when his day is not like our day, we can't see him. Because he is in al-ghayb, he is in the samawat. Can you be on earth and yet be in the samawat? Of course. There are angels right here, in this surah, in Hotel Ampang, no, Hotel Di Palma, in Ampang Point in Kuala Lumpur. There are angels here. Can you see that? No, because they're not in our world of space and time. Are there jinn here in this surah? I know there are lots in Washington. Are there jinn here? Huh? Yes. Can we see them? No. Can an angel leave the unseen world and appear as a human being? Can it? Yes. Can a jinn leave the unseen world and appear in our world as a human being? Iblis did it. Can there be backward and forward movement? Backward and forward movement between that world and this world, so we never see the person. We never see him, but he's always backward and forward. Now we come to Surah Al-Kahf. Exactly what happened in Miradj. The trip down and then back up, the trip down and then back up. Same thing in Surah Al-Kahf. The young men fled in the cave, remember? And Allah put them to sleep, remember? فَضَرَبْنَا عَلَىٰ آذَانِهِمْ فِي الْكَهْفِ سِنِينَ عَدَدًا. And they slept for many, many years, 300 years. ثُمَّ بَعَثْنَاهُمْ لِنَعْلَمَ أَيُّ الْحِزْبَيْنِ أَحْصَىٰ لِمَا لَبِثُوا أَمَدًا. And then we woke them up to teach you a lesson about time. That's why we did it. So they ask each other, how long have you been here? And one of them said, a day or a part of a day. Which sounds strange to us. Because if you've been sleeping for 300 years, when you wake up, then your fingernails should be as long as from Ampang Point to KLCC. But although they slept for 300 years, they were still biologically the same age. No change. Indicating that they did not spend the 300 years in our world of space and time. Indicating very clearly, they did not spend those 300 years in our world of space and time. They spend the 300 years in a world where women don't need cosmetics. No, you never grow old. Huh? But we are now faced with a difficult situation. While there is incontrovertible evidence that they did not spend the 300 years in our world of space and time, there is also incontrovertible evidence that they did spend the 300 years in our world of space and time. What is it? وَنُقَلِّبُهُمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ. The sunlight entered the cave morning and evening, from the right and from the left. In the daytime, the sunlight did not enter the cave. And the bodies of the young men rolled to the right and to the left morning and evening. Rolling to the right and rolling to the left is space. Morning and evening is time. So for every single day of those 300 years, the bodies of the young men were in this world of space and time. Incontrovertible evidence. How do we solve it? I wish Einstein was here. Answer, backward and forward movement that was continuous. Continuous. And so Dajjal is involved in backward and forward movement, which is continuous. So he is here. He is the mastermind who has given us the modern age. And yet you cannot see him. Finally, can we take a look out there? Because if we can take a look, we could do a lot of things in Afghanistan, you know. We could make life very difficult for them in Afghanistan and Iraq, in Libya, and wherever, in Syria, wherever else in the world you have this curious phenomenon called, have you heard of it before? Yankee jihad? A Yankee jihad? One in Libya now, a Yankee jihad. You have one in Syria now, a Yankee jihad. Yes, it is possible for us. This is the conclusion of the lecture. Isra and Miradj is telling us one of the crucially important things that come out of Isra and Miradj is that Allah is informing us that we have the capacity to penetrate the samawat. In order for that penetration to take place, however, the angels first had to split open the chest of the Prophet ﷺ, take out his heart and wash it, and then put it back in and seal it, and then there was a seal at the back, the seal of Prophet. So in order for us to be able to penetrate the samawat, we need to bring purity to the heart. If you could do it in downtown KLCC, go ahead. My opinion is not possible. When you see haram all around you, and your heart does not shiver and shake, nothing happens to the heart. Then that is not a heart that is fit to travel. But if you go to the remote countryside, the Malay call it kampung, and you know that you are in the remote countryside when you can't use a cell phone. When you cannot use a cell phone, now you know you're in the remote countryside. And in the remote countryside, you try to restore that heart. That heart, which when it sees haram, the heart would shake and shiver. There's not only haram all around us today. There is that haram on which Allah has declared war. For the money lender who is still taking interest, فَأَذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Banking system around the world is lending money on interest. Whose heart is shaking? Whose heart is filled with anger? Well then how can this heart travel? But if we get out of it, withdraw from it, and go to the remote countryside, away from all the haram, we have a chance to recover that heart. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ, says the Quran. Qalbin salim, a heart which is sound and healthy. A heart which when it sees that which is haram, when it sees that which is shirk, responds to it with anger. Then it is possible. How can we travel? Is there a vehicle that can take us from this world to that world? Yes, there is. And Allah speaks of it in Surah An-Nur. He says, Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. Nuru samawati wal ard. What is common to the samawat and to the